The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. It's Tuesday. Welcome to the show. Got a good one for you. I'm feeling it in my bones. We were just talking about Wiki Feet, Noah, and I'm reluctant to even pull up my Wiki Feet.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna look just so that I know.
I can just tell you right now, I have it up. People say I'm a size 10. Yeah, I am probably. That's what they estimated shoe size. It's really a 9.5. If you're gonna send me shoes, let's do a 9/9.5. 10 is always gonna be too big, but it's probably the shoe size I should wear because my feet though have shaped to a 9. Because I've made them, my bunions have made my toes curve in to fit a 9. So I don't wear 10. Now, a lot of uploaded pictures. I have a 3-star rating. I would really like to implore my besties to create a Wiki Feet account and get my score up. If you want to. You know what? It is. All my scores are based off of, I would say mostly this image that I gave to people of my mangled foot on Not Safe when I was doing that show. And it is a grotesque picture. I remember one of my producers coming in to my office during those days to be like, hey, we're doing this foot segment. Like, can we just get a picture of your foot? And I just took out my, sweaty, pale, mangled claw of a foot and just put it on this sad carpet of Hollywood Center Studio stages. And my toenail is like purple. It still looks the same. It's very thin. My foot looks anorexic. It's like really sad. It looks like a 98-year-old woman's foot, without question. So, and it's how brave of me to put that out there. And then there's other pictures of my foot that are taken from Instagram that have been uploaded where people can see. And yeah, so people have actually stolen still images from my Instagram story, just flashes of my foot that they've stolen and uploaded. And yeah, my feet aren't great. A 3 out of 5 I don't think is very good for the site. I think most of these people are pretty generous. And yeah, that's a sad rating. And how many ratings do I even have? We probably have more than reviews of our podcast. It doesn't say.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
It should say.
Oh,
I want to know.
It says 665 total votes.
Oh, I see. Yes. And 173 say beautiful. Thank you. Let's get that number up. 106 say nice. 117 say okay. And 140 say ugly.
Boo.
129 say bad. Bad and ugly. I love that those are different. Bad is slightly better than ugly. It's whatever. I really don't care. Like, I can't control my foot. There's nothing I can do for my feet other than manicure it to change it. I could get surgery. Then I'd be off my feet. And then I wouldn't be able to exercise. Then the rest of me would change. And then I'd get taken down for the rest of me. It's like, you can't win. So not doing anything to my feet. Love my bunions. Love the pain it brings me because I like pain. And I like having them massaged even though no one does it for me. The other day, Andrew and I did a foot massage 69 or we each grabbed one foot because I was like, dude, massage my feet please, and he was like, no, and I was like, just for like 10 seconds. He's like, you massage mine. I was like, great, I would love to.
The barter system.
I was so good. He knows how good I was. And he likes a foot massage just as much as me, Noah. We used to go in New York every day and we used to get 2 hours. We used to start with a half hour and then we'd just be like, you want to go another half hour? And then we'd bump it up. Then we'd go, you want to go another half hour? They're $25 for an hour. You pay $50 and then I'd tip like insane amounts because, that's just so cruel to put someone through all of that. But I just love a good foot rub. And man, that face massage, I can't stop thinking about it. I gotta get another one of those. That was life-changing. Kirsten's gone. She left and I'll miss her. She was sleeping in my bed the past 5 nights. It was so fun. It was fun to be at home this past weekend. I've been out on the road every single weekend. For like, I don't know, it's felt like 7 or 8 weeks in a row. I'm going to Cancun tomorrow,
So
which we will
fun.
be putting that episode will come out
eventually.
eventually.
I'm thinking
yeah.
for Thanksgiving.
Okay. Oh, that's a good idea. Everyone's going to be around their families, a little vacation in your head, in your ears. That'll be fun. We're going to Cancun. It's like all these comedians. It's going to be, who's on our, I want to get the itinerary because it looks so good. It's like, I'm doing Goddamn Comedy Jam, which is when a bunch of comedians play with a band and sing songs, and I'm going to play guitar for the first time and do just an acoustic version of Blank Space, which I did last week on the live podcast. So I'm going to do that again, and then the band's going to join me for like the last chorus because I just want to do solo. And that'll be so fun. That's what I'm looking forward to. And then I'm also doing an hour show and also a live podcast. So it's a lot to do while I'm in Cancun. I'm going to get a spray tan today to prepare for it. Haven't even thought about swimsuits and wearing them in front of other comedians and how that will feel. And
Yeah. How do you feel about being around so many comedians? It's been so long, right?
Yeah. I guess when I go to LA, I'm around them a little bit, and I feel like, I guess it's been so long since it's been like a lot in one space. But also no, because on the road I bring Emil and Andrew and Anya and Matt, and it just feels like a bunch of artists. It feels like comedians all hanging out. Like I've been getting really good hangs in, but I am excited to just hang with. I think Jim Jeffries is there.
Yep.
Andrew Santino. Who else? Girls Gotta Eat
Lane.
Girls. Mateo. I'm so excited to see Mateo and his sculpted fig. He has the best body. Fig is short for figure. He's an Adonis. I'm excited. And I really I haven't even given a single thought to being in a bathing suit in front of comedians. I will be. I don't give a F. I look fine. It's not like the best I've ever looked. But like I'm gonna just enjoy being in the sun and being able to be at a resort, and I'm going to live it up, and I'm not going to worry about that stuff. I haven't even thought about it. That's my new thing, is not worrying about it until it arrives.
Good.
You know, like just staying, my pants are flooding, whatever. They've arrived. The floods arrived. These pants are so good, and I never wear them, and now I know why, because they flood, and they make me so sad because I think I shrunk them. I shrink everything. It's just, I should buy everything in an extra large and extra long so that I can shrink it, because it's going to get shrunk no matter what. It's always, there's some part of me when I take the wet clothes to the dry clothes where I go, Nikki, you should go through each individual black blob in here. But then I go, nope, let's just roll the dice and I'm probably going to be fine. And then inevitably there's like a really nice sweater that looks like it's made for an American Girl doll after I dry it. The plus size American Girl doll. They should have had a plus size American Girl doll. I wonder if they have like chunkier dolls just to create for every body image of little kids. Did you ever have American Girl dolls, Noah?
No, just I'm like old enough to know the Cabbage Patch dolls.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those?
I never, of course, but never got into those. For some reason, they just didn't look like people to me. I wanted more realistic. I never appreciated abstract dolls, like Bratz dolls. I mean, those were way too old for those, but like Cabbage Patch dolls, I knew they grew in the garden, so the children aren't supposed to look human, and they're supposed to resemble a, gassy vegetable, but their faces and their hair was yarn. I wanted hair to be like mine. Obviously body standards and hair standards in doll world that made me a little bit insecure as a fine haired child, but I'm grateful that I had a choice of dolls that looked like me, that with no vagina and no nipples and a waist that if I had it, didn't they do the measurements of Barbie, and if you had those measurements you wouldn't have a stomach and you would just be dead. Like you would all your organs would have to be removed. But I also suspended disbelief enough to be like, oh, this isn't what I'm supposed to look like. I think I could as a child go, this is for Barbie. This isn't for me. But I do believe that, you know, when someone says you look like Barbie, it's like the nicest compliment because it's like this perfect version of what you should be. So I guess, I mean, it does create a beauty standard. I mean, I just always remember being in the bath and feeling my hair in the bathtub, like when I would lay it in the bathtub and it would just, the way it would like flow and feel so like silky and just, it would be soft and straight, but also bend in the right way and have this weight to it that just felt luscious. And then I'd get out and it'd be like thin and wispy and like, you know, like Ebenezer Scrooge when it would dry. And I'd be like, why can't it just, I remember thinking, why can't it be the way it is when it's wet? Like not understanding physics, still don't understand physics, but just wanting my hair to be like Ariel's. Did you ever, what was your first like female insecurity as a girl, Noah? Like being like, oh, I wish I had that. And it's like a kind of like a sexual thing, or like, oh, or catering to the male gaze kind of thing where you're like, oh my God, I wish I had boobs or whatever. Do you remember what age?
Oh yeah, of course. When I went through puberty, I think my body just didn't do it in the correct order. And my legs were always like so skinny, but my butt started to grow. So whenever I would put a skirt on, it would just look like two legs in a bucket. That's what I would always think. Like, this looks terrible.
Like if you did a handstand, it would be like two mops in a bucket.
Yeah, exactly. I just like,
sweet
I felt
girl.
so, and even until today, like I don't know how to wear skirts. I feel so uneven in them and just so like misshapen.
Interesting. That's such a thing that's carried over because you have such a great body, such great legs. I mean, anyone can wear a skirt. It doesn't matter if your legs look like mops in a bucket. But that is interesting and such a very like perfect description of what, I mean, it probably kind of looked like, or someone said something like that to you. I remember someone saying I had like thin, like chicken legs or something. And then I was like, my legs are like so thin, and being sad about that. And then like the next day it was like someone said like when I sat down, you know how your thigh goes when you sit down and like like the muscle softens and goes to the side, and someone being like, look at your thigh, and like from one day to the next feeling skinny, too fat. I'm too fat now, you're too thin. There's a Britney Spears song about it. Yeah, there's like I love that Taylor Swift quote from her documentary where she's like, if you have enough fat on your body to have a butt, then you have a tummy. And if you don't want to have a tummy, then you don't have a butt or boobs. And it's like, you can't fucking win. And I just loved that because it's true. There's just no winning. So stop trying to play the game. I'm so glad that I get to share the way that I feel about my body now with people, because it really doesn't change. Like even when I was really depressed the other day, and that's usually when, you know, I used to go to my therapist years ago, my abusive therapist, and I would sit down and go, I feel fat today. And of course I wasn't. And she would say, you're depressed. Like that's where your mind goes. The first thing you go to. Now I go to, you're not a real woman. You'll never get, like, no man wants to love you. You aren't possible of being a homemaker or like maternal. But it doesn't go to you're fat and, you know, and people could go, well, Nikki, you're not fat, so why would you go to that? So maybe that's why. I don't think that's it, because I really did feel that way no matter what. It wasn't about, I would find something about my physical appearance that was just not okay. And I still do it. Like I still look in the mirror sometimes, and you guys have heard me say this, and I just go like, ugh. And I start to go down that rabbit hole of like, oh my God, like zooming in on a picture. I saw a picture of myself the other night where my crow's feet were a poppin'. And it was just a way I saw my face for the first time where I go, there's some age on that face. Like that looks like a 37-year-old woman's face. Like she's getting close to 40. Like that, there's no denying it. Her face is showing it. And I looked like my mom, to be honest with you. I looked like my mom when when I was a teenager. I looked like what my mom looked like. And, I could vividly remember my mom's face as a teenager more so than when she was younger, obviously. And I just looked like my mom. And there's a part of myself that was like, I want to get those crow's feet taken out. They're always trying to put Botox in my crow's feet. And I always like those because they just like, I don't know, they'd never bothered me. But the other night I'm just zooming in and I'm like, God, you look old. And so what? I mean, like, I don't know. I just moved on to the next thing. I just can't be bothered with it. I mean, I'm a little bit, the other day Kirsten's talking about micro needling and all this stuff. And sure, I'm going to look into it, but I don't know. There's other stuff I got to worry about. And it's just a waste of my time. I've wasted so much of my life worrying about my body. And I'm not going to say that it's not going to happen again, but man, you can just die tomorrow. And then what are you doing? Just pinching yourself and looking in the mirror. I'm tired of mirrors. And yeah, I don't know how to get over it. It's not easy to do it, but I'm so grateful that I'm kind of done with that shit. Are you kind of done with it, Noah? Like, have the voices quieted in that way for you with body stuff?
I have my moments, but they're never long. It's just kind of like, whatever.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, you have a different history with body issues than I do, so I can't say that I relate to what you're saying. But for me, it's very easy to brush it off. I never really had, besides the whole legs thing, and the chicken skin. I don't know. I just kind of stopped caring about it.
I just wonder though, when we brush it off like that, if it's just going somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, yesterday I was going through a feeling where I was maybe having to like close a chapter of my life with a relationship, a friendship. And I was like really getting sad about it, even though I was like, oh, this is probably for the best. And I just was really getting like, I'm going to have to mourn this. I was gearing up to like have a cry fest because I thought I'm going to have to say goodbye to this person for a really long time, if not forever, because of just the circumstance. And I just was like, you know what? I was telling Kirsten, I don't want to feel this. I just don't want to do it. Is there any way I can just numb out and just and not with drugs, not with anything, just truly robot head, just like say bye, and just when the feelings bubble up, push them down. And I just know that's not true. It's going to go somewhere else. And so I wonder when I look in the mirror and I go, no, you're not dealing with this. Yes, you hate the way your arms look. Not today. Does it just go somewhere else? Or do I have to like honor my arm and be like, honor the pain I feel over my arm and like mourn the loss of tone or whatever that I'm experiencing? I wonder where it goes, because everything goes somewhere. I really wish and I am good at just shutting down, and I'm very bad at goodbyes. I would rather a friendship end with like, oh, we just kind of ghost each other, than having the talk and being like, and saying we had really good times. And then you're
bad at goodbyes. I'm shocked.
Really? I hate goodbyes. Hate them. That's why I always leave like very abruptly, and I'm like, okay, I'm going. Like, I don't like this like tedious, like, all right, well, this was so fun. Oh, I missed you. Like, even today with Kirsten, I'm like, chose to put in my laundry when she was leaving because I just wanted to be distracted and not like have to hug her and go, oh, this was like, it means it's over. And I get really sad when things are over.
I've seen you, I guess, like more like professional goodbyes. And I've always like admired how you handle them and looked up to it. But I guess personal is a little bit more challenging.
Ended You Up, it was like, I didn't mention it until the day of, even though I knew it was coming. I just don't want to like have any kind of lead. I don't want to prolong a goodbye, because if I talk about how great it was and all the good times, I will be so much more sad when I have to end it, as opposed to just done. Does anyone relate to that? Let's talk to Andrew about it. Andrew! Why, hello, Andrew.
Hey, Nick.
Are you good at goodbyes?
How
do you feel about them?
In regards to ending a relationship or ending like just...
No, just anything. Like, you know how I just leave everything very abruptly. I'm just like, I'm going to go, and then I'm gone. I don't like going, well, this was fun. Yeah, like I hate revising, I just hate going over anything, whether it's my act, whether it's a show we just did. I don't want to have a postmortem about how it went.
Yeah.
Because first of all, it could be critical, or it could stir up just like emotions that make me go like, oh, it was so fun, and then I get sad as it's ending. So I just would rather go like, bye, cut and dry.
I'm more like you. I definitely like, if I'm leaving like friends that I know I won't see for like, who knows, 6 years, I'll just be like, well, later, bro, later, dude.
Yeah.
Instead of like, fuck, I'm not gonna fucking see you in so long, and I just don't even know what I'm gonna do without you in my life. Because, dude, we really do throw a football well together.
Yeah,
like it's not, and that's partly because it's like I'm afraid of those emotions coming up. Like I wish I could hug and like actually like hold my dad while I'm leaving him and be like, God, I really do love this moment. It's more like, all right, Dad, see you fucking at Hanukkah.
that's what it is. It's that not wanting to possibly have to cry, or it's just pushing away feelings.
It is.
That are just like, for me, maybe they're waste of time, because I just go, I got stuff to do. I can't be crying. If I cry, it's everything. I'm on camera too much, and I have to be like on for things. So if I cry during the day, it pushes my schedule. It pushes things that I can't.
Yeah.
And not that that's different than anyone has to go into a meeting at work, or have lunch with a person, or jump on a Zoom call, whatever it is, like, or be around your kids. You don't want to be like weepy. There's never enough time to cry. Does that make sense?
Dude, our whole life is designed like with business. You got to separate business from personal. You're not going to go to your client and be like, please, I just want you to fucking sign up so I can make money to feed my children.
Yes.
Like, that's really the emotion you're feeling.
Yeah.
But instead, you're like, well, here are the numbers at 5%, 4%, 7%, all the percents. But, like, it's interesting. Like, we're just, like, taught to, like, push these things down just so we could cope with life, I guess. But then it hits you at, like, 45 when you have a heart attack, or you need therapy, or you look back,
or
and
you
like,
just
whoa.
break down on a podcast, or like, truly, I mean, when people cry and they say they cry, like, I cry like it's a storm in Florida. Like, it just passes by real quick. It's a rainstorm.
Yeah.
Last 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, and when it comes on, though, you go, okay, let's cancel the whole fucking day. And then all of a sudden the sun comes out, and you're like, I can't believe it was even raining, and the ground is like shimmery, and you're like, what the hell happened? That's how I feel. I sometimes want to cry for a really long time, but it just feels like a burden to those around me who have to comfort me. Or if I go off by myself and cry, and the people that, like, the other day I was crying because I was depressed. And, like, there's only so much your friends can say or do, which is pretty much nothing when you're super depressed. And then I just wanted to go cry in bed, but I had to wait till like the house was cleared out, because I didn't want anyone to think that I was like, I'm sad. Like, I didn't want to hear I didn't want you guys to hear me weeping through the door, because I thought you might think that I was trying to act sadder than I like. It always stirs up, and like I'm trying to get attention.
I get that. I mean, because we do try to get attention in so many parts of our life. So why wouldn't crying be another thing?
Crying probably is a way to get attention, because as
that's
a baby,
how I feel at
that
funerals.
means
When I'm at a funeral, I don't cry because I don't want the attention on me. It's about the dead guy or dead girl, I don't.
It's not, though. They're dead.
I know, but I just it does. I have the same kind of thoughts though, oh, woe me, or like, I hate when people like comfort me, like I can't handle it.
You hate the pity.
Yeah, I just don't like.
Anya hates pity too. It's her least favorite emotion on her. Of like,
she's
you
from
poor
Russia
thing.
and was raised inside an igloo up there or whatever.
Yeah, it's
made
probably
out of vodka.
Well, I got that a lot too as a kid. Of like, what are you crying about? That's ridiculous. And but for some reason, when I love that, when I want the opposite of what I got as a kid, which was like not a ton of comfort. And sometimes, but my mom would sometimes. When I was sick, my mom was really good about being, you poor thing. Like, really good about like being nurturing and making me feel like I deserve to be sad when I was sick. And so sometimes when I get sick, I get really like, I'm a baby. And I just, because I do deserve it. Like, and I give it to people too. When people are sick, I just go, oh my God, it's just the worst. But I think that emotionally,
Yeah.
I don't give myself permission to feel sorry for myself when I'm emotionally sad.
I just think though, like the idea of like the sun clearing, like thank God our brains are like that.
I just don't
That
think
you
that
can
I
just
get to
cry.
cry enough though, because I just go, oh, I mean, the fact that I can cry at all is good and better than before. I used to just be a fucking, desert and just there was a drought.
Mm-hmm.
But now when it rains, it's just like sometimes you need a little bit more. And I just feel like I don't even. That's why I don't like to cry, because I'm like, I know that I won't get. It's like masturbating and you don't get to come. Which I like to do anyway, but like you just know that there's not going to be the actual release because the person, or getting a massage, like you don't even want a massage for 2 minutes. That's not worth it to you. If you knew after 2 minutes the person was going to be like, oh, I fucking hate doing this.
So how long do you want to cry for? I mean, there's one, like what are we
until
talking
it's done?
here?
Until I am done, not because I'm done for other people.
But didn't you say the other day you were crying and then you were fine? You were like, whoa, what was that? Like the sun came up?
Yes, but
So then isn't that the end?
yeah, but I made it. It just so happened that I felt better afterwards. But I think that I needed more, because later that day I was a little bit more weepy, and I just couldn't do it because I had to go over to my sister's house for trick or treating, and I didn't want to get there and be the crying girl, even though that's a cool costume.
But if I gave you 5 days to cry, I think
No, I wouldn't take them. That's too long.
I'm just
Noah,
saying,
when you
like,
cry, how long does it last? On Av.
I mean, I don't no more than 5 minutes. Even
Why
5
don't
minutes
we-
feels long.
I don't even think maybe that's long enough, but I think that is us being like, this is just too indulgent. I gotta wrap this up. It's like a quickie, and sometimes you need really, you need Kama Sutra for it doesn't, it doesn't, when you finish up crying, is it because you feel like, okay, this is a little too much, or is it just like you get it out? Do you feel
I'm
complete?
thinking about the last things that what made me cry, and I think it was mourning the loss of my dog.
Yeah.
And I guess I just lose track of time, so I can't tell you how long, but when he first passed away, I didn't cry at all, and then it just came.
you passed away more than once?
Yeah, that's
I
a
wish.
good point.
So when
Sorry, bad
wh-
joke.
when he died, I didn't really cry. I was in this weird mode, and then maybe a month later is when it hit me, and I just let myself cry as much as possible. It was also helpful that I wasn't at actual work. I was at home. I was. But then even a year later, I would start thinking about him, or if I would see his photo and I would tear up and stuff. But it doesn't. I guess I just kind of say, okay, you can let it out now, and then I'm like, okay, I don't want to go into this sad place. Let's think of something happier times with him. And
I'm
all that.
realizing what it is that makes me feel so uncomfortable about crying.
What is it?
It's not crying. It's that after you cry, you're happy, and it feels like the sudden change is so abrupt that it seems like whatever you were upset about was fake, and that you tricked everyone around you to get the attention, and then suddenly it got out, and now you get the attention, and so you're suddenly happy because you got I feel like people think oh, Nikki just wanted us to get around her and stop down and make everything about her for a second, and now she's happy, and she's so happy that no one could be that sad and that happy right away. But the fact of the matter is, because I cried, I'm able to get it out of the way and be happy. But it feels fake. It feels like
Yeah.
someone pretending they're drunk or something, or someone pretending it feels embarrassing. It feels like coming a little bit of it feels out of control, and you're just making weird noises, making weird faces, and then afterwards you're just okay, let's go back to normal. It's so embarrassing. You're picking up your clothes, the tissues. It's where's my underwear? It's that naked state afterwards where you're and I feel like a phony because I feel so much better after I cry that it's embarrassing of how
But
And
everyone
then I feel
around
like everyone's
you,
like, she was just
no
fucking
one's like
faking
that.
it.
No one's like that.
But
Everyone,
I used to fake crying, I think maybe as a kid to get attention, and maybe that's what's.
But everyone wants you to be happy. Like it'd be a weird friend to be like, man,
I'm trying to think of an
she didn't
example.
earn it. She's not really sad enough to get
Not
attention.
Didn't earn
No,
it, but like
but
she's come up with. She can switch on a dime so fast that it makes you think like this person's.
there
like,
could be an
lying.
unstable person that uses tears for her advantage or whatever. But I feel like if
It's like being like, oh my gosh, and we'll be right back with a fun trip to the county fair. Okay, John, get over it. Like that kind of like fakeness of like you can like showbiz people where they're like we're having such a good day today and I don't want to kill myself.
yeah,
And,
but
like,
if it was like if you were crying over like a Starbucks order, but you had your heart hurt. You had lack of sleep. You were overworked. There were a lot of reasons of why this happened.
But then suddenly the sun comes out and it's like
That's fine.
that
Good.
Was that fake? Why was she doing?
No, that's in your head because that.
Maybe that's what I think of other people sometimes. Then,
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think like
kids do that. They're like, ah!
when
And
I
then they
asked
get
you
candy
later in
and they're
the,
like,
I asked
and
you
you're like,
later in
"Did
the
it really
day,
hurt?"
and I was like, "How are you feeling?" And you're like, "But better," and it made me happy. Like I was happy that you got through it. It wasn't like. Dude, that was kind of fake earlier. Like she was just acting to get, candy of attention. Like there were no thoughts like that. It was literally like, oh, I'm glad she got some rest finally, and now she can, kind of. You can view things easier. You can understand things. When you're in that state, dude, you can't control it.
And you don't think that you're in that state because you're drunk. Like drunk people don't know that they're like, I'm fine, I can drive. They don't know that they're impaired. Like you don't when you're depressed, you don't know that you're not. You think you're seeing
Something's
things,
off, but like you can't explain it.
and you think you're right. You're like, when I get depressed, I'm just like, I'm seeing things the right way. Like
Yes.
I'm like a drunk person who's like, I can drive. Shut up. Like I know what I'm doing. Get out of here. Like, and it's like, no, we have to take your keys. You're drunk, and people say like you're depressed. You're not looking at yourself the right way. You have like. And I just don't believe it. And then I get in the car and I slam into a tree. And that's what happens.
And also,
Well, you
as
could-
the
yeah, go ahead.
friend in the scenario, Andrew, I'm sure that you're the same. But if my friends are feeling sad or emotional over something, I never go, "Oh, don't be sad. It's nothing," because
Yeah, I've never
who,
said
who
that.
wants to hear that?
I've never said that. I try to.
There's versions of that everyone can't help but do because they go, but come on, look at your life. You've done that. Like
No
I
way.
get that all the time from my parents of like last summer when I was depressed. I remember my mom saying, you just hosted Jimmy Kimmel. And she had a good point. Like, cause I was like, I want to kill myself.
Yeah.
And she's like, but everything you've dreamed of is coming true. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, Mom. Back in second grade, I said I wanted to guest host Jimmy Kimmel from an abandoned mansion in Hollywood during a pandemic. And it is coming true. It's crazy that I predicted that. No, but it's like people will try to, I think that's it. I just was raised by parents that are like, but starving kids in Africa. And also, look, you have food and clothes and parents who love you. What are you crying about?
And then I feel like on your end, like you feel like you need to justify your sadness.
Yeah.
Like your depression. Like you need to find a reason. Sometimes I feel like your brain like searches for something to be negative to match how you're feeling emotionally.
Yeah.
And like you almost like search it out.
How
and it,
hard
like,
is it to feel depressed when there's nothing wrong? It's embarrassing.
No, I know.
So you
And
have
then-
to find something. Like it's
Yeah.
like a survival mechanism of like you're drowning and you're grasping for something to justify and to like
Yeah.
almost hold you up and like give you because if you find that thing that you can go, that's what's wrong, at least that gives you hope that if I fix that, or if that wasn't there, I wouldn't be drowning. But if you're just drowning with nothing to point to, it feels like I'm going to just die out here.
I guess you just got to figure out how to not get in the water without being able to swim before
The
you
thing
start
is,
looking for something to justify it.
The
But-
water's going to come. I'm going to
Yeah.
fall off the boat sometimes. And I think that everyone listening that has depression, I'm
Yeah.
going to be depressed again. It's going to come up. I just have coping mechanisms of knowing that it's okay to ask to spend a great, beautiful day outside in bed and get a nap in. It's okay. It's okay I can journal about it. I can ask my friends, like, do you mind if I just sing a bunch of songs really loud to get my feelings out? I can, I can treat myself like I'm sick and like give myself the same kind of leeway and softness and gentleness and ask for it from my friends that I do if I had the flu. Like, I just got to start treating the depression like the flu. And that's why, I mean, when I get sick, I had a commitment on Sunday that I just said, I have the flu of the brain. Like, I have a legit
Flu brain, yeah.
Contagious, because I'm going to bring everyone down. I can't be around people. And I go, unless I can take some coldies and get rid of this, I'm not going out tonight because I can infect everyone.
Yeah, and the reaction was
that totally stay in. Like, I hope that we can just, as a culture, like, embrace calling in depressed and not have it be like, oh, you scared. And that because I don't get physically sick, and it's like a bummer to me because I don't get to ever call in sick. And if I do, if I say I'm feeling sick, I rarely get physically sick. I get mentally sick, and it creeps people out. It makes them worried in a way that, being physically sick doesn't. But it's the honest truth that sometimes I just can't work.
Yeah, no, I've had depression where you can't pinpoint it, and you're just like stuck in bed.
And you can't call your friends and say, I can't come tonight because I'm depressed. You just have to say, I'm not feeling it, which, is the same thing.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard. I mean, I've gone through months of depression in the past. But I don't know.
What does your depression look like, though? You don't have
in
the voice
bed.
saying kill yourself, right?
I say kill Nikki. Kill Nikki. And
people do get homicidal depression, for sure.
Oh, I don't think I have that. I mean, I don't even know if we have a weapon. But I've looked. But
golf clubs, dude.
Oh, shit. But then I got to go down to my car.
And you're going to get blood all over them. You just got them. You'll have to trade them in again. And they'll be like, well, these have pieces of
But this
hair
is
and
Nikki
scalp in
Glaser's
them.
blood. And they'll be like, oh, well, in that case, sir, step right up. All right, that's pretty dark. But no, my depression is going. I still go to my room and I just lay down and I just recoup. And that's why when you're like, you go to your lair a lot, I go, yeah, I go there to just, I need alone time.
I just worry that sometimes, I guess I'm projecting. Like, that's why I feel bad when I take a nap when I'm depressed, because that's also the thing I want to do. That's like my cutting when I'm depressed, because I go in there and I think about killing myself. But I don't know the difference between I need a nap and I want to just check out from the day. And I know that checking out from the day is not what's good for me. That's why I had to stop and stay out in the kitchen so long until I realized, like, are you wanting to go to bed to escape from the day or because you're really tired? And it was like, I'm tired.
Oh, for you.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just like, it's a balance. Like, we talk here for an hour and a half. Then we might shoot some stuff for 3 hours. And then I hit golf balls for 2 hours. And then I just go in bed. I put on a show I want to watch. Yeah. I'm not like overthinking it. Like, oh, I'm
no,
in
but
bed.
I'm talking about when you're depressed.
But when I'm depressed, it could almost look a lot like that too.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying when you do
but
it,
usually
when you're
it's
not depressed,
like,
I go, hey, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I call Brenna a lot of the times. Like, we check in and
I hear you talking sometimes in there,
Yeah.
and I go, oh, you're just like hanging out with your girlfriend, and I get it. Like, if I had a TV in my room, I definitely wouldn't use it. But if there was something in my room if there was a friend in my room, I might hang out in there more.
Yeah.
Let's get to the news.
You heard it here first. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Someone to whisper nothing to.
Yes, I do. Luigi. I think Luigi's anorexic.
Well, they say the dogs
I know.
take on the yeah.
Thank you. My God, have you noticed? It's back, baby.
It's like a dog knows a storm is coming before the storm comes.
No.
You're gonna look great in 2 months, Nick.
But I think he's not eating to get my attention, to be like, hey, I'm distressed, and that's what anorexia is. It's not really about like, oh, I want to be thin and beautiful. It's about I am suffering and I don't know how to show it, and it's like cutting yourself slowly. And I think that he's not eating right now to tell me something like, I'm stressed, Mom.
He could get sad. I mean, when we have big highs, he had a huge high the other day, hanging out with the fam, hanging out with Marion, running around in the
And it
woods.
was right after he got a tooth removed, and he was on anesthesia the day before, and he was on pain meds.
And so he had this high euphoria day, and now he's coming down.
Yeah,
over
and I
there.
made him say goodbye, and he it really made him wallow in it. So maybe that's it. Oh,
But
Bubba.
apparently, I hope you're having a good time out there. It's all the swells,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Wednesday, or it's Tuesday, so you know what that means.
God, I just got hit by a really good mood.
Really?
Yeah, like
nice.
like
The
total-
coffee hit you?
No, I think it was just like the conversation
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad
made
that
me process some stuff.
it's good.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, of course. I like talking about this shit. It's so much more
Love it.
interesting than, like, I don't know.
From
Whatever.
like first
Okay.
headline.
Dave Chappelle's comedy special.
Oh, interesting you say that.
No
Nikki.
way.
No.
No.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle. A new study finds that the height of your heels can boost your orgasm because when a woman is standing in them, their pelvis tilts enough so that the muscles repeatedly contract. Strong pelvic floor muscles can also mean increased sensitivity during sex.
This is like,
I
you
feel
know,
like this is a-
this is the shoe lobby. This is the
That's how I
this is the
thought.
stiletto lobby. Getting it their
This
little
is big shoe big
digging
shoe
their
money.
heels into the, they paid someone to do a study. I mean, this is ridiculous.
It
I
feels like a
understand.
guy was like, how can I get women to keep wearing heels? Oh, I know. It makes you come. like
I mean, women are going to keep wearing heels because they make your legs look fucking fantastic and they make your feet look really cute. And as someone who has a 3 out of 5 stars on Wiki Feet, listen, the only pictures that are pulling that up to a 3 and not a 1 are the ones of my feet in heels.
well, it says 2-inch heels is the optimal, so that's not that high, right?
No, that's not
inches?
too bad. I've been wearing only heels on stage. Not heels, not like you've seen what I hate. I brought it on the show. I just hate a pump, like a tall stiletto. But I love boots. I love boots. I love wearing them on stage. Tall, the higher the better. It's hard to dance in them at the end of our set, but it just makes me feel. I kind of go numb when I'm performing. The adrenaline
Do
is
you
kicking so much I don't feel
feel like if
anything.
you-
The second I walk off stage, it's like, oh, get these
But
off
when you
of me.
masturbate later in the day, do you think your pelvic muscle is
Good
stronger?
question.
I wonder. Let's try to pay attention to it.
I don't think that's.
Let's
I
all
just
get
think
together
this
and
is
pay
the-
attention to your
Yeah.
pelvic floor.
I mean, my sister just she has a tilted pelvis from pregnancy.
Oh, that's like a real thing?
Yeah.
What does
and,
that mean?
A lot of pain, and she has to go
Oh.
do physical therapy for it. They have her walking in heels. They have her walking in heels
They
that
put makeup
actually
on her.
the top of her feet go up so that she can tilt back. She's wearing
She's wearing
wearing
Sub-Zero
heels.
heels.
Yeah, yeah.
Heels. Yeah.
Remember those fit flops or those fit shoes that had like the heel where if you wore them, it would work you out. Fit flops.
Flippy
Noah,
flop?
you got to remember these. They
Hold
were
on.
all the rage about 8 years ago. Look at fit flops. My mom had a
Oh,
pair,
yeah.
and they were supposed to work your calf muscles because they had a little bit more, like the sole of the shoe came at an incline by your toes, so you
Oh, so
were
it
constantly
worked
like
the
kind of
opposite.
working uphill. Yeah.
Yeah, you would walk more like a.
I don't do Kegels or any kind of vagina exercises, and I know I have those like balls that you're supposed to put up your vagina. It's supposed to I don't even know what you're supposed to do with them, but they're like
The
on a
yoni
string.
balls?
Yeah.
And what does that do? Tighten your vagina? or
But right
something?
now I'm doing some kind of pelvic floor thrust, and
I've
it
done
does kind of make
Kegels.
me a little bit like horny. Like it gets that vagina muscle like cranking.
You could do Kegels. A guy like I could feel it right now. It's like on the base.
Hegels?
Yeah, Hegels. Strong enough for a woman, but
Like so your
perfect
penis would be
balance for-
going like
Yeah, well, it doesn't like shoot up, but you could feel it in the head, the base of your penis. And it was
roots.
apparently allows you to get
trunk.
harder, easier, or longer, and like it helps your erection. But now I just
it's
take
hard. Whenever I do
Viagra, so-
Kegels, I do it for like two times, and then I'm like, that's hard.
Yeah, it's not like if I can't see the results right away, I'm not going to be doing it.
And none of my partner will
None of my
truly
partner.
ever be honest with me about like, I would never want him to be, but I don't want anyone to be like, oh, you're feeling looser than before. You're feeling tighter than before. Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what it is based on other women's. Like, I have a friend who's like, oh, my vagina is so huge. Like inside, it's just like massive. And she's just like, I just have a really wide vagina. I'm just like, that is to me the worst thing anyone could say about me. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but and she's someone who like cares very much about looks and like body image, but she's just like, yeah, I have a really fucking wide pussy, and it's like she's very nonchalant about it. Noah, do you worry about your tightness and your Kegels and your pelvic floor and all that stuff?
I mean, I wouldn't say that I worry about it. You are reminding me of a story. A friend of mine, she hooked up with like a couple, and she was telling me about hooking up with the woman, and she goes, like it just felt like a hole in there. I had never felt anything like that before.
That's what they say what your asshole feels like.
Well, I wonder, like, we say all this, but it's like, how much bigger could a vagina be? You know what I mean? Like, wider wise. Like, are we talking centimeters? Are we talking inches?
We're talking centimeters.
That's
but
what I'm saying, though. It's like, I don't know.
I guess you would know if, like, if someone hands you a super tampon and you go, "Oh my god, yeah, right, never gonna do that."
Yeah.
And then if for me a super tampon, no prob, Bob. Let's get it up there. Like I can take it. I can take like a lot.
But how wide? A super tampon's not wider than penis.
No, it's not. But I mean, there are some girls that are like, "Owie!" Like, and there are times when I haven't had sex in a really long time or had anything up there. And putting in a super tampon when you're not like gushing blood, like you're just kind of menstruating. It hurts a little bit. And I'm like, oh, gun it back, But then there's times that...
there's times you leave the plastic on, too.
Yeah, I use Magnum tampons sometimes and just throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
So tampons, though, just for guys out there, I know there's different kinds, right? Mm-hmm. That's the width of it or how much it can absorb? Yeah,
it's pretty much the girth of it.
Okay, so it's not about blood flow. It's not about...
It is because, I mean, a girthier tampon is going to have more cotton to absorb more. So it's the more blood flow, you'll pick up bigger tampon. That's going to have more of... it's going to be a tree that's been in the ground a little bit longer, more rings on that tree,
Yeah. So what's the biggest one? Super
Plus, I believe. I think you can go up to a Super Plus with Tampax brand.
And what's the smallest? Tiny pussy?
Mouse suppository. I don't know. Just a little needle. You get the vaccine. It's a cotton vaccine up your puss. Diva cups are the ones that everyone uses, but good Lord, that is just so scary to take out.
What does that do?
That collects all the blood in like a goblet, like a king's goblet, and then you take it out. Or sometimes it looks like a Lance Armstrong bracelet, and like it's like a very taut rubber.
How long do you keep it in?
The thing is, you can have sex with those, and you put it in, and it completely blocks your vaginal hole from having any blood flow, and it stays up there. Like you put this.
But doesn't it build up then?
Yeah, but then you take it out, and you take it out like a cup, and then you go like this, and it's just like a little it's almost like a baggie. It looks like a dental dam kind of baggie, and it has blood in it. And I mean, I've said this before, but I remember using those and taking them out when I had like white, just like a light colored jean on at a restaurant. And I'm like, if there was an earthquake or God forbid someone walked in the stall and I was like, ugh, and like spilled and it sloshed everywhere, or I poured out some for my homies, it would be a nightmare. The other night,
it'd be like can't hardly wait. What's the movie with Patrick Dempsey where he dances?
The American Psycho?
Oh, such a big movie.
Can't Buy Me Love.
Mm-hmm. Where he spills the red wine.
Yes, it would be like that.
I love when I come up with things.
All right, let's get to the next story.
Apparently.
Oh, I mean, watching that video the other day was so fun.
Oh, I can't believe Kirsten never saw it.
There's some video. Today I watched Pete Davidson's Okay for the first time. Chad.
Very funny.
Yeah, Kirsten was doing, I got to say that Kirsten's rendition of it and telling me what it was like, I'm staring at you through the window. I'm going to stick a knife in your flesh in your face. And he's like, okay. That was funnier than the sketch itself.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Kirsten is so funny.
Yeah, she's very funny.
I said to her today, I go, honestly, the way you describe, and let's be honest, she stole an idea. And like it was their idea.
But
They're
still,
funny. Yeah. But she is so funny. and I've said this before, I remembered as a kid, like I remember where I was when I go, she's going to be on SNL. And it's like my dream, like to be on TV in that way. And I can't, it's just undeniable that this person is funnier than me. And everyone says it, everyone knows it. She's just insanely funny in a different way than I am, obviously. But I said to her this morning, I was like, God, I was like, you honestly, if you tried right now, you could get on SNL. You could Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones didn't get on SNL until she was in her 40s. But Kirsten really could get on SNL. She started doing characters on Instagram without question, I believe, if she committed to it. And especially with like my help putting her out there, it would happen.
Yeah.
She's that good. But she just goes, yeah, like I just feel like I probably could, but like this is just my life, and like you just like there's just some life like you can't have every life you want. And I was just like, I love the idea of like she knows she's funny enough, and she is, and just being like, no thanks. Like I would, and I guess I'm passing up like motherhood or like being a teacher, many lives I could have that would be gratifying, but to turn down a life that could be SNL. With I would say I would be 80% sure I could get her on SNL. If
80%?
80% sure.
That seems high. I'm not trying to be a dick.
I'm not joking.
I think she's very funny, but then I think like
No, her
as an
character
ensemble
work,
and like
no, her character work is she's never had any training.
Yeah,
and with a
that's
little bit of
true.
training, honestly, I could get her there.
No, she's very talented.
I should be
She's
like the Bella
attractive.
Corroli of like like comedians. I could train comedians, not stand-ups for some reason. But like, I don't know. I'm not good at sketch and impressions, but I think I could train someone to be good at it.
I mean, try to make videos with her. I mean, that's where it starts. I mean,
Oh, speaking of, check out the Lisa Gilroy.
yeah, you like this girl.
The Lisa Gilroy. I wrote to her and was like, I don't know if she wrote me back yet, but I discovered her the other night. A bestie sent me a TikTok of hers doing impressions. And that's not even what I love the most about her. Her impressions are great. She does a great Ellen. But like, her shit is so fun. Women will really, really like her. Girls, I'm not
How do
kidding
you
you.
spell Gilroy? G-I-L?
Gilroy.
Yeah.
This girl, the Lisa Gilroy, just go look at her Instagram now and go to her reels and watch 5 reels. And if you don't love 4 to 5 of them, then we don't have a lot in common. But it's rare that I turn you on to someone so emphatically. So check out the
Speaking of
Lisa.
accents,
Yeah.
an American woman who was hit. I love these stories. Who was hit by that sounds bad, but who was hit by an SUV and was in a 2-week coma. Now speaks in a Kiwi accent. She has now never been to New Zealand.
Whoa.
I mean,
I was just listening to a podcast about this.
there's some people that can speak like French. Like she was
Yes.
speaking French. She was speaking English.
The thing is,
like British.
she probably spent some time in
Her
New
boyfriend's
Zealand.
British,
Okay. Yeah. So this is the thing. I was listening to the Sam Harris.
but she's never been to New Zealand.
She's probably watched a show or something. She's had exposure. This isn't something that is humanly like I was listening to the new Sam Harris, Ricky Gervais podcast. It's called Absolutely Mental, and you got to pay for it, but god damn is it worth it. It's Sam Harris is I think the smartest person I've ever heard talk about human nature, and if you're a fan of anything that I say, God, you're going to love him. And then Ricky Gervais, obviously, no matter how you feel about him, I think he's a really good person. He's a vegan. He's super funny. And these two just get on the phone and talk about he'll be like, Sam, what is anxiety? Like, what is it? And Sam's like, well, I mean, it's fear. It's the manifestation of fear. It's a fight or flight, and they just break it down and they're so funny. Sam is so funny because he's smart. But they were talking about people that, if you just, your body, because Ricky was talking about how if you eat, they did some experiment where people were eating fish, like raw fish, or some guy was on an island or something eating fish. And eventually he just started eating the fish's eyes and he didn't know why. Like, why would that be the thing you go to? Like something in him, even though it was the most disgusting part of the fish, he was just drawn to the eyes. And then they realized it's because eyes have water in them. And his body knew that, but he didn't cognitively know it. But his body was like, eat the eyes. We need water. He didn't know that there was water in those eyes. He didn't go, I need water equals eyes. His brain knew something he didn't know, right? So is it possible, they were talking about, to, like, if you watch someone play piano and saw where the keys were all pushed, is your brain putting that somewhere? And you just haven't
So if
found
you
a
get
way
hit
to...
on the head, it unlocks that part of your brain.
Yeah, like if you listen to subliminal tapes, or if you watch someone do, like, is there a way to know to unlock an accent or a language that you've heard spoken a lot? Like, can you unlock it? And the truth is no, unless it's like kind of practiced. But I think that this accent thing is she's probably heard that before. But I don't mind when people have like take on the accents of places they've been, because I do it.
Well, it's funny because hers
maybe that's why I
hers
don't
was
mind
French at one point, Russian at one point, and then she
you
like
could change your
settled on New
accent.
Zealand. I don't know, man, because I would have my voice a little lower.
Whose voice would you take if you had to? You
Like
had to
out
take
of
someone.
comics?
No,
or out
like
of anyone?
Voice.
Who has a good voice? I mean, you think about the biggest actors; they probably have the best voices, like
I know, but
DiCaprio
is there
or
anyone's voice that
Tom
you're just
Hanks.
like, God, I wish I had that? Not singing wise, just speaking wise. Noah, does anyone's? I mean, honestly, Noah, I might take your voice. I heard you when you left me a voice memo. I guess it was yesterday, 2 days ago. Oh, I almost drove my car off a bridge because I was like sleeping and listening. It's just so soothing and like pleasant.
Nice,
It's
thank
just
you.
a dream.
I think
I would take a New Zealand, or I would take an Australian accent, because it just sounds so crisp and cute. It sounds like they're like
But then if you were trying to
crunching
get
on a
like
chip.
English roles or like whatever, then you're gonna have to.
I don't care about rules. I mean, I can be a comedian in any language. I would truly take a crisp Australian accents. I just think are adorable on women. They're so cute.
Yeah, no, it's probably one of the hottest. I mean, there's so many hot accents
Yeah.
out there. French is very sexy
No.
for a woman.
No is the only thing I can say. No.
That's
Australian. No.
and what's New Zealand?
No,
New Zealand is Brit.
no.
Oh no, that's South African.
If I watch oh my God, how funny is Jamai?
Oh, it's the best.
I mean, recommending another podcast.
Or just a show.
Amazing. Yeah, if you watch Summer Heights High, I start talking like an Aussie.
No, you're good at that accent.
I have to hear it a bunch. I'm only good at things if I hear it a bunch.
Or if you get hit by an SUV.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
It's so wild, man. It's so wild that it just your brain. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but they say what you use 8% of your. What is going on in that other
Do you
92?
ever test your brain to just like think of something? So just let your mind go and think
Yeah.
of the weirdest thing from your past, and you just like. I'll imagine like a fence post from my middle school. And I'm
Okay,
like,
I just had
why did it just pick that?
I had a weird thought.
Okay, what?
So we had this kid who was kind of crazy in our neighborhood, and I remember him just like having a machete,
Okay.
and like he was just nuts with a machete.
That's why there's no free will. You did not choose to pick that. It just popped into
But it
your
was like
head.
my fifth thought. Like I had to get there.
Right, but that
But
doesn't.
yeah,
it
but
still
still.
appeared out of nowhere.
I was
You
like,
didn't-
think crazy, what's the crazy? Oh my God, that kid that we
but
kind
it
of picked
didn't-
on who
You
was
didn't
going
go, I'm going to pick
kill us
that.
all.
It
Yeah.
just showed up.
Yeah.
That's no free will. That's the perfect example. Okay, let's go to break and come back with Why Do I Care?
I wonder how many people in Florida think back and they're like, yeah, I see a guy with a machete.
Oh my God. Why do I care? Why do I care?
All right. Amy Schumer
Yes.
makes a statement wearing a tampon
Oh, yeah.
Halloween costume
saw
after
this.
having a hysterectomy due to endometriosis.
Let's try that again. Let's try it. Nope. You've definitely heard this word before. I'm shocked.
Endometriosis. Endometriosis.
No, come on. You're almost there. You've heard this. You've had to have heard this
Why?
before. It's because it's a common thing that a lot of women suffer with.
Yeah, I'm not listening. Endometriosis.
This is the problem. Endometriosis.
Okay.
Endometriosis.
I
She
guess
had
we'll
her-
never
she
cure
had,
it until.
her uterus removed, right?
So then she can't have babies anymore?
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Oh, that's brutal.
I know.
What causes that endometriosis?
I should know, but I know that it affects like 1 in 9 women or something like that.
Jesus.
It's insane how many women go through this, and it causes, if you have really painful periods, more bleeding than most women. Like Lena Dunham had it. She also had the same surgery where she had her uterus completely taken out. And I love that it's called a hysterectomy, and that women that are crazy are called hysterical. It must be related.
It probably is.
Like, the disease of the uterus. She's crazy.
She's yapping. Someone get a
make
hysterectomy
a
of her
baby.
mouth. Yeah, I
She also is a spokeswoman for Tampax.
Yeah,
So,
so
I
she's-
think maybe that's also why the outfit was being worn.
yeah, she's done some commercials with them.
Yeah.
I guess she's bringing. It's interesting that
I
they
liked
go
the
with a
costume,
blue
though.
color.
Yeah, that's the
Is
classic.
that the new thing with tampon?
No, I mean that's she. Look at the top. Do you see the top? So the cotton is sticking out the top. So that's the she's the applicator.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's like a plastic applicator, and then the top is coming out, and then her legs are like the thinner part of that you push through. So the legs you would push through, and then that cotton part would come out, and then it would be only that blue top part with the leg part inside. That's how you put in a tampon.
I mean, it is wild that like.
And then does she have the string?
Yes, it's not like a.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
that's
holding
funny.
in the photo.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. I liked that costume a lot, and it's very Schumer and like funny, and I think that if Schumer wasn't being represented, like she wasn't doing it for Tampax, she would have some blood on there too. Oh my God! Did
Like
you
a
hear me just sit
trail?
on my mom?
Just kidding.
And I wasn't just kidding. What was your favorite Halloween costume you saw of celebrities?
Of celebrities?
I couldn't stand all the Megan Foxes, Machine Gun Kellys, even though I get it.
There
there was too many.
You didn't see it, but I mean, I saw about 55 Ted Lassos.
I only saw one.
I saw it out in the wild. I saw like 6 or 7 just walking
Really?
around, driving around, just
Those are
lasso. It might just be say
Guys in
Midwestern
a
guys
jacket with
a
a mustache and a hat and glasses.
No, they were lassos, and then there were a lot of lassos out
Mm-hmm.
there, and it's an easy outfit. You know, any guy likes an excuse to have a mustache because they're seen as like porny. You know.
Yes.
Oh, what's wrong with that guy? He's
And
got a
everyone
weird
likes
porn
to
mustache.
be lasso. We're all lasso inside. We're all having anxiety.
Yeah.
And are kind of like questioning our choices. And
I like a costume where you can see the person's face. I don't like wearing a mask all night. It's fucking annoying.
yes.
I mean, what's your favorite costume you ever wore? Did you ever get really dressed up? I think both of us.
Yeah, I was Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, or like,
Which one was the other one?
And I was also Paris Hilton one year too, and that was really good.
That was like a really hot year, and it was just like very. I was living that night, and my sister was Nikki Hilton. And,
Really?
Yeah.
Is there photos of this?
There's one photo, and I cannot find it anywhere because I've looked for it, but it was really good. And
Then I was one of the Olsens. I wanted, as someone who was anorexic probably at the time, I wanted to wear a skeleton costume,
Yeah.
the way that you wear a jumpsuit with like the black skeleton, and then be holding a Starbucks cup with big sunglasses and like a trench coat and be like the Olsens. Because they were like anorexic, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
a joke and a joke.
My favorite costume that I put a Diet Coke box on my head and I
You were
crossed
Diet
out
Cokehead.
diet. I was Cokehead. Just Cokehead.
Oh.
You get 12 Cokes. And you
That's
get
so
a fun
simple.
costume.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I've
I
been
liked
doing
this
it forever.
guy's Alex Bordy. You know him. He was a Bachelor guy. He's one of my friends. I liked his costume. I'm sure it's been done a million times, but it was just all white and it said like 404 error costume not found. He just like wrote it on, and it was like, oh,
Pete's
that's
was
creative.
kind of funny.
Pete
Lee and his girlfriend.
What'd they do?
They were a beer pong table, and
Oh,
they just tied 9 plastic red cups to their back and just would bend over and have people play beer pong.
Oh,
on
that's
them.
fun.
Yeah.
God, I wish I would have been invited to a party. My nephew
You
was
would
a
have
squid,
gone.
and Poppy was a monster, and they got really tired and wanted to go home early. It was awesome. Oh my God, it was so great. All right, let's get into Reddit dump. Ooh, yes.
Ooh, get in there.
This is your Reddit dump. All right. I love your laugh at that. All right, let's get to the Reddit dump. I saved a lot. Oh my God, there's pictures of words coming up. Hold on. God, I love Reddit so much. Oh, this one is so good. Have you ever seen this clip? I wonder if we could superimpose it, Noah, into the middle thing. This is a guy. It's a pretty famous viral video, but it looks like a security footage of a street, and there's a man walking towards the camera, like on a road, and then a man comes up from behind him and just taps him on the shoulder. Just a mysterious man comes up from behind, taps him on the shoulder. The man turns around the other way. The man taps him on the shoulder, and he turns around this way. And as he turns around, there's this huge fence, and he's like, "Whoa!" And he runs out of the way. And it just is. Watch this.
A fence?
Watch. Just watch this. How creepy it is.
All right, I'm watching. I mean, it's like dark at night. Guy's walking. Whoa. Whoa.
Watch it again. I mean, isn't that crazy? It's like this
Whoa.
angel appears out of nowhere and taps this guy in the shoulder and then keeps walking, and you just see him walk off
But it
camera.
makes you think-
It comes out of nowhere. It seems like this guy had an angel watching him, knew he was about to die in a Final Destination way of having this huge fence come. The guy would have been killed by this fence had he not turned around and seen it. But the only reason he turned around was because a guy tapped him on the shoulder right before it.
And this is real?
And the
This
guy,
isn't
that's
set
real.
up?
I've seen it on Reddit a million times.
My question is, did the fence hit
So, guys, if you want to see it, go to the subreddit Next Fucking Level and then search "Man Just Witnessed God Himself," and that's what it's under.
My concern is that the fence hit the angel or whatever that guy was. Don't you think?
Yeah,
Like,
it could have been. Okay,
I don't know.
here's one from Ask Men, which is always one I love, and I love to ask you these two. What's the most superficial reason for why, I think they meant to say, for why you have rejected a woman? Some of the answers include...
I mean, it would have to be leg hair, armpit hair, happy trail hair. Any kind of hair that you don't want it to be is very superficial.
But you've been on like Instagram and Twitter and seen like leg hair?
No,
or
just
angle
like
hair?
maybe even in real life, you just turned off by it. I'm just
Yeah.
thinking like what else?
One person said, I feel really bad about this one. She appeared to be my age, like mid-20s at the time, but she had a cartoonishly thick Minnesotan accent. I couldn't hear her voice without picturing a middle-aged hockey mom that wanted to serve me a salad that was 3 parts Jell-O, 1 part vegetables, and 5 parts mayonnaise. Andrew would have loved that. Luckily, the first date went poorly anyway, and neither of us wanted a second date.
I think a laugh. If you hear a girl laugh or how they speak, you could maybe.
Oh,
be
man.
turned
Sometimes
off.
I hear my own voice, and I go... Whoa, boy.
Same with
that
me.
guy sounds angry. This guy said, really shitty left turn to get into her apartment complex.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're just rejecting her. She's not good enough to put up with that, you know? Oh, no. Her feet looked like she kicked walls for fun. You know what? To the guy that wrote that wasn't the only reason you rejected me, okay?
Yeah.
I also have a grating voice and I have anxious attachment. Someone said, when I was newly divorced, some friends had a get together where it was pretty obvious that they wanted me to meet a woman they thought I might hit it off with. She was pretty, funny, and into many of the things I was. A very intuitive matchup. Then she started to refer to herself as the queen throughout the evening, and
Oh,
I was done with
God.
that. Not superficial at all. That girl needs to go.
I agree with that one 1,000,000%.
I would say for me, it's like loving meat. That's not superficial to me, but anyone who identifies with like loving meat or someone who, you know, now when I'm swiping on Bumble, like you can find me in the outdoors, someone who loves traveling. Sorry, like I don't want to travel. I do it for a living. And then if we're but these aren't superficial. These are like things we're not compatible. Superficial, no chin,
Yeah.
bad teeth, bald I don't care about, short don't care about,
Okay, you don't have to look at me while you're thinking of these things.
like wears sweatpants to a date.
Okay.
No, to a date. Like if I went over to if you had me over to
Yes,
like watch
yeah.
a movie here at the apartment and you answered the door in that, actually that's like a nice outfit, but those pants and like a dirt, like I would just go, this guy doesn't even fucking like me. He's not even trying. Noah, have you ever rejected someone for superficial reasons?
Yeah.
Can you think of one?
I'm trying to think.
I remember my homecoming date, like permed her hair where it looked like she, put her finger in an electric socket.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't. It just turned me off so much.
Wow, why?
Because it was like a big date for me, and I was like, "This is what you decide to do."
Did you say it looked nice? Did you at least because that's a big change. You want some kind of.
I made her ride in the back seat of my Explorer. No, I just dude. It was
Weird
like
place you'd fit. Yeah.
it was like it was wild.
Oh my
And I
god!
was
Do
just
you have any
like,
pictures?
oh,
Was this
I
your
have
prom
one.
king? Oh yeah. What
So
What do you
I
got?
went. I just
You have a picture of his prom date?
No, sorry. You're gonna love
first
this.
time my dog died.
It's been so long since I've been on a date, so I completely forgot this. But I met a guy on an app, and we met at a bar or whatever in Manhattan. And I looked at his hands. I'm like, I love a good hand, right?
Yeah.
And the ends of his fingers were so like bulbousy. It looked like alien nodes. and I was
I know
just
what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I was out.
I get that. Oh yeah, I agree with that one. Hands are important.
Oh, if women have too big of hands, it could turn me off.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. I think that like the way someone smells.
Yeah.
I've been
bad.
like, God, they're perfect, except like I just don't like the
Too much gum in their smile.
like chewing gum.
No, like they're.
Oh yeah,
gums
gummy.
on- it's
Yeah.
just- I
Sorry
know,
to
I
anyone
feel
who has
bad.
this. The thing is,
These are superficial. This is
some
like,
girls would say bald and short I wouldn't date, but for me, I'm like if you're someone that has bad teeth and what did I say, no chin, let me be honest, I could still love you. All you have to do is seem disinterested in me, and like you're
And
not
grow a
impressed with
beard.
me, and then and grow a beard.
and wear your Invisalign.
Okay, here's one last one. Life pro tips. If you need to get rid of an unwanted erection, bend over with your knees locked straight as far as you can comfortably go and take 3 or 4 big deep breaths.
Wait, what is this?
If you want to get rid of an unwanted erection,
Okay.
you stand with your knees straight
Okay.
and
Bend
knees
over.
locked straight. Bend over as far as you can go and take 3 or 4 big deep breaths.
With your dick in your mouth.
Yeah, suck your own dick until you come and then your erection will go away. Would that work, you think?
What, blowing yourself or that? I could try. I'll try it later. I'll let you know how it goes.
Final thought. When was the last time you had an unwanted erection? Do you remember getting them in school?
No, not really. Nothing where it's like, oh no. But I remember we nicknamed this kid Boner because he got a boner during a presentation
Yeah.
in front of the whole class.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, it was bad. And like he was Boner. Like you're
Yeah.
just Boner now.
Yeah.
And he kind of ran with it. I like that he like. I guess
I love people owning.
if you could see your dick in some pants with a boner, you probably got a pretty good boner. I guess you
Yeah.
could look at it that way.
Yeah. Girls never noticed boners when guys got them. Did you, Noah?
Well, I remember like when I would take the subway every morning to work, there were a lot of men dressed in like those like khaki pants. And I would see so many morning boners.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yes.
The G train bone. What
Would you
train
be
was it?
afraid if you were a guy that you would get a boner all the time?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same as like if your period blood goes through your pants. I think it's probably
Yes.
the same amount of worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like when I got my first boner. Well, you get them young, actually.
Or like in
Yeah.
public. Do you remember having one in public at an awkward time?
Not really. Me and my buddy Rusty in Spanish class would get boners, and we'd make them move in our pants as jokes. Like that was a joke. We're like, look at our boner move, and it just go from the right to the left.
Hard nipples. That's something girls have shame about.
They shouldn't.
And because it's either the room is cold or we're turned on, right? But men love, like, the thing is the other day my mom goes, Nikki, you can see your boobs. And I go, do you mean my nipples? She's like, yeah. And I go, so what? So what? I have nipples. Like, I don't know what, I guess it's like, it's distracting and people don't want to see that. Stop rubbing it in our face. My mom is very much like, she doesn't like when women try to like flaunt their sexiness. She's just like, we get it. Cool. She thinks she's cool. That's so queer, she says.
Do you think she just isn't comfortable doing it herself, and that's why?
Yeah, she's never shown cleavage ever. I've never seen my mom's cleavage, and my mom has okay boobs.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
They're great. Okay, one more thing. This was on Made Me Cry, the subreddit. It says no caption needed, except yes, there is, because this is like a screenshot of a tweet, and with a picture. So it's a picture
caption.
of like look at the dirty.
Yeah.
It's like a cement floor, and there's like a water splash, and the water splash is like a heart. Okay. And it says, today is the 1-year anniversary of my wife's passing. As I walked into my shop, I spilled my water. She gave me a reminder that today will be just fine. And it's like, it looks like he murdered her in this cellar. I mean, like it's a really dirty basement. Oh, it looks like Blair Witchy. Look at the splat of water. I love little things like this. Why not? You see a heart. It's an easy shape for anything to be in the shape of. But I was also like, it's just a splat of water. Your wife also could, what if the water shape looked like a dick? He'd be like, she's thinking of me today. Like whatever it was, it would be. But it is sweet to see little things like that. It didn't make me cry. That's for damn fucking
It
sure.
did?
It did not.
Oh, it did not. Yeah.
It's rare that things on Made Me Cry even have the ability to get even a little bit. Here's another. I didn't save this one, but I just went to Made Me Cry. Let me just see if this has 6,000.6 upvotes, so this should be good. How can people say cats don't have feelings? Like when my cat got deadly sick, she refused to eat a single thing and it had been days. But when I started crying, she just ate a little bit. And upon seeing how happy it made me, kept doing it whenever she could. Now, whenever I'm sad or crying, she finds wherever I am with a mouthful of food and eats the pieces one by one. Every time looking up at me, making sure I was watching her eat it, all because she knew it made me happy. And it does make me happy. Maybe that's what I need to do. Luigi, will you please eat? Luigi, please. He just won't eat. And I've been buying, I buy him $1.99 little trays of food of like his lamb. I hate buying lamb.
Yeah.
I picture the lamb going, bah, and just being like, mama. And I do it for you, Luigi, because you won't eat any food now.
Maybe
and so I go,
he wants
maybe.
to be vegan too.
No, he definitely doesn't because he had some of your egg sandwich today. And you loved it. He loved the egg sandwich. Oh, Jesus Christ. He is really, I can't tell whether he hates me or loves me. And what I will say, Luigi now knows the podcast every morning. And like today, for the first time ever, he was in the podcast room before we began or before I came in. Andrew was already in here setting up. And then he was just sitting by the chair waiting for this time to happen. He really loves this.
He's
I
our
love
talent
it.
it's
handler.
I think he's.
Yeah, it's rare that we just sit down and talk. You know, we're always like running around and like he just loves this time. It was really sweet, and I'm so glad Luigi's a bestie.
Well, we don't know.
He definitely is.
We'll see.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to the podcast. He's got to be. We will be in Cancun tomorrow, but we've got an episode for you. Don't worry about that. And we are going to be in D.C. this weekend, as well as New York,
Tampa.
Huntington.
No, Tampa.
Oh, Tampa.
Tampa
that's next
Friday,
Yes.
DC Saturday.
That's not true.
Yes.
No, it's not. It's Tampa Friday, DC Saturday. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, Tampa Friday, DC Saturday. Next week is New York. Next week. And then I'm going to be in New York on Monday night performing with Jon Stewart,
Oh,
Bruce
nice.
Springsteen, Jim Gaffigan, Brandi Carlile. No big deal.
That's
Not
awesome.
nervous at all. Don't know what I'm going to wear. Not thinking about it until it happens because there's no point in worrying now.
Jon Stewart, I fucking love him.
I
so
can't wait.
much.
I've met him, I think, one time in passing. But yes, I'm definitely going to try to have a moment that I can tell my dad about so he likes me more. Not that my dad's love is infinite, but, I'd like a little. He'll just think it's cool.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And the boss. I mean, come on.
I mean, that's like the coolest lineup ever. And Brandi Carlile. I mean,
I know it's sick. It's crazy. And Nate Bargatze. Don't forget him. I call him the boss.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little awkward. Guys, we got to go. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you tomorrow on the pod. Make sure you subscribe on our YouTube channel. Go rate my feed on Wiki Feet and leave us a rate and review on the wherever you listen to your podcast. We'd really appreciate it. See you next time. Don't be and
Jackie
Cantin up.
Robinson.